After years of combative relations between the United States and NATO, Washington's new top diplomat says America wants to strengthen its alliances. Speaking at a NATO summit in Brussels, Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on members to hold together to meet the challenges facing the transatlantic partnership. While he said the United States sees China as a threat to their collective security. Take a listen to what else he had to say.
The United States won't force our allies into a us or them choice with China. There's no question that Beijing's coercive behavior threatens our collective security and prosperity, and that it is actively working to undercut the rules of the international system and the values we and our allies share. But that doesn't mean that countries can't work with China where possible, for example, on challenges like climate change and health security. We know that our allies have complex relationships with China that won't always align perfectly. But we need to navigate these challenges together.
And our correspondent Terry Schultz is standing by at the NATO HQ in Brussels. What did you make of the speech?
Hi, Layla. Well, this was definitely a speech designed as an antidote to the Trump years. Secretary Blinken didn't say the word Trump once, but I will have to for purposes of comparison. And his main purpose here was to reassure allies who had been so unsettled by all the things that President Trump did to denigrate the alliance. He said the U.S. needs alliances. We know that. We know that Europe needs the same thing. So we are going to renew our relationship. We are going to work together. As you heard in that soundbite, he said that it's Beijing and Moscow who are our real challenges. So we need to be on the same side and get back to simply working together, putting our resources together, and then these things won't be as much of a problem. It was definitely something absolutely designed to reassure the European allies, and I think he was successful at that.
Yeah, well, tell us. I mean, were they reassured by his assurances that, well, America is back now?
You know, Secretary Blinken said openly that he's been getting questions about, you say America's back, but for how long? And he was trying to reassure them that this is not going to be a temporary thing, that we are really back for good. And while he presumably gave these messages to allies in the private meetings and in the NATO sessions, I'm sure some of them were watching just to hear if anything new came out of this speech. And there were a couple of things I heard that I think Germany in particular will be happy to hear. One of them was this view on China. Now, the Trump administration did make ultimatums to European allies about their relationship with China. They said, for example, at one point that they would cut off intelligence sharing if European governments didn't cut off Huawei components from their 5G systems. The other thing that will be very welcome in Berlin is that Secretary Blinken said that while it's great that all allies are spending more on their militaries, aiming toward this 2% target that was such a focus of President Trump, he said it's time to take a more holistic look at burden sharing in NATO. This is something that Germany has been asking for years, because while it doesn't spend as much as NATO would like on its military as a component of GDP, it does provide a lot of other security for NATO, provides a lot of other resources. And it says, hey, could you look at the whole picture? This is something that Secretary Blinken specifically mentioned in this speech, and I think that was aimed directly at Berlin.
Terry Schultz reporting from Brussels. Thank you very much.